Have you ever wondered about that one role that sits right at the heart of a company? You know, the one that's often the secret weapon behind a CEO's success.
Ah, you mean the chief of staff.
Exactly. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the chief of staff role. It's a position that's, well, quietly become a powerhouse over the last decade.
Hmm.
It's evolved from a niche thing in like government and Fortune 500s
Right.
to finding a permanent home in the fastest growing startups, scale-ups, and venture-backed companies.
And our goal today really is to pull back the curtain on this. It's such a high impact role, but often, yeah, pretty misunderstood.
Totally.
It genuinely offers a front row seat to decision making at the highest levels. And,
Yeah.
you're not just observing strategy unfold, you're actively shaping it,
Shaping it.
which is incredibly compelling.
That's a powerful way to put it. So what is it about this role? Why is it such a magnet for top talent right now?
I think it boils down to unparalleled exposure, massive impact, and just incredible career acceleration.
Yeah.
So if you're, say, an ambitious generalist,
Right.
someone who thrives in those fast-paced environments
Yeah.
and doesn't shy away from ambiguity, this might just be one of the most exciting and, let's be honest, demanding roles imaginable for you.
Right. Demanding but exciting. So in this deep dive, we're going to peel back the layers. We want to understand what this powerhouse role actually involves,
Hmm.
who thrives in it, how the compensation works, the different ways people get into the job,
Pathways, yeah.
and some crucial tips for, nailing the application process. And we've got real-life advice directly from current chiefs of staff.
Great stuff.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What is a chief of staff? Fundamentally.
Well, at its core, the role is about maximizing the effectiveness of a senior leader, usually the CEO.
Usually, yeah, but sometimes the COO or CFO.
True. And they really act as a thought partner,
Okay.
an execution engine, and often, yeah, a direct representative for their principal across the whole business.
It sounds like a lot.
It is. And one really intriguing aspect is how incredibly fluid this role can be.
Fluid. How so?
It's genuinely one of the least standardized jobs out there, especially in tech. It varies dramatically depending on, say, the company's size and its stage of growth.
Right. And that fluidity isn't just a feature, is it? It means a chief of staff is often kind of a problem-solving chameleon.
Chameleon, I like that.
They're hired not for a fixed job description, but to tackle the executive's most pressing, often changing pain points. That takes a unique kind of adaptable genius, I think.
Definitely.
So while it's fluid, there are some consistent responsibilities that seem to pop up, like, of course, it might lead strategic initiatives.
Okay, like what?
Things like new market entry or maybe M&A integration, or, merging and acquiring other companies. That's a huge task that doesn't neatly fit into just one department.
Right, it's cross-functional by nature.
Exactly. They're also often driving organizational operations. Think setting team goals, maybe using OKRs.
Objectives and key results, yeah.
Yeah. Preparing for those crucial board meetings, managing critical internal communications, big stuff. You'll also see them deep in stakeholder and partner management, acting as a key point of contact for external folks, investors, media, you name it.
So bridging internal and external worlds.
Absolutely. And a huge part is executive enablement. Basically, clearing bottlenecks for the CEO.
Oh?
Managing their calendar strategically, prepping them for meetings, just being a vital sounding board.
That trusted advisor piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
And finally, they can even play a big role in culture and talent shaping company culture, running leadership offsites, sometimes even leading key hires.
Wow, the breadth and depth are just immense. It really fits that problem-solving chameleon idea you mentioned.
Yeah.
We heard from Devati Ludolini, he's chief of staff at Alphea. He shared that one of the most rewarding parts for him is working so closely with the CEO on those high-impact initiatives, things that directly shape the company's growth and strategy.
Makes sense.
He loves the sheer breadth of it. Product strategy, partnerships, org design, thought leadership. He said the role puts him right at the intersection of strategy and execution.
Strategy and execution. That's
Oh.
key.
Totally. And similarly, Sa Al-Khadoumi at Astrolabs. He mentioned his responsibilities involved tackling those ad hoc strategic projects like new market entry, launching new products,
Okay.
but also doing financial analysis for M&A discussions, mergers and acquisitions again.
So it's clear the title covers a really wide spectrum. While chief of staff sounds consistent, the roles themselves seem to fall into different types, really tailored to specific needs.
That's a great point. We've sort of seen these archetypes emerge: strategic, operational, comms-focused, and even specialist roles.
Specialist,
Yeah.
like finance or AI.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Or legal. Think about it this way.
Yeah.
If you have a visionary founder, tons of big ideas, right?
Yeah.
But maybe struggles to implement them consistently. They might desperately need an operational co-S, someone to translate that vision into action, build solid processes.
Got it. Makes sense.
Or if a CEO is constantly in the public eye, managing crises, dealing with investors,
High profile.
then a comms-focused co-S could be indispensable.
Mm.
The co-S often acts as a direct complement to the principal's own skill set.
So filling the gaps.
Precisely. Like a CEO with a really strong product background might specifically look for a commercially minded chief of staff to balance things out. Each type fills a specific need.
That complementary dynamic feels so important. And the reporting structure you mentioned most, report directly to the CEO. That says a lot about the trust needed.
It really does.
Even if in bigger companies they might report to a COO or CFO, the key thing, the real secret sauce here, seems to be that success hinges on a super tight trust-based relationship with the principal.
It sounds like, yeah, an almost indispensable level of trust.
Right.
You have to be someone who can anticipate their needs, give really candid feedback, and just execute without constant hand-holding.
Mm-hmm.
Without that deep trust, the role just,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't work. It couldn't function effectively.
So given that deep trust you just described, I'm guessing that explains why so many of these roles get filled internally or through warm introductions. Chemistry must be everything.
Absolutely everything. It's non-negotiable. Brian Kolovet, he was an ex-Meta business lead, now a founder and CEO at a stealth startup. He put it perfectly.
What did he say?
He said, ultimately, the most important thing in any ComS and principal relationship is chemistry. So it's important to be your authentic self and decide if this is someone you would actually like to work with 12 hours a day for the next 2 years.
Wow, 12 hours a day for 2 years. That really drives it home. Okay, so for you, the ambitious generalist listening, maybe thinking about this path, the big question often comes down to money, right?
Always.
What does this all mean for your wallet? Let's talk chief of staff compensation.
Okay, let's get into it. This is definitely a frequent question.
Yeah.
And the answer, like with a lot of these high-impact roles, is, well, it varies a lot.
Range.
Huge range. Generally, you might expect to earn somewhere between, say, $100K and $200K annually. But, and this is a big but, it can soar much higher.
How high?
We're talking $200K to $400K plus, sometimes even beyond that, especially when you look at later stage or public companies.
Okay, so what drives that variation?
It's heavily influenced by the company stage, the industry, geography where you are, and of course the specific responsibilities of that particular role.
Gotcha. Any hard numbers?
Yeah, for context, Ask a Chief of Staff's 2024 report put the average around $167,000.
Okay.
Startup roles might average closer to $128,000 nationally, maybe $136,000 in big tech hubs like New York.
Right.
But then you look at more senior roles. Sites like Salary.com or Glassdoor report averages closer to $220,000. Even an entry-level associate cost might start around $88K cash.
That breakdown by company stage seems really important for understanding this.
It really is.
So at early stage startups, maybe pre-Series A funding, the cash is usually lower, like 80K, 120K.
That sounds about right. But the equity upside can be really substantial. We're talking 0.25% up to maybe 1.0%.
So that's the gamble, right? Betting on massive growth.
Exactly. You're trading that immediate cash for potential long-term wealth. You're hoping those shares, once they vest, become incredibly valuable if the company takes off.
Okay, then moving into growth stage, like Series A to C.
Yeah, here the base salaries scale up, maybe 120K to 180K. Equity is often still significant, maybe 0.1% to 0.5%.
And is the role different there?
Often, yeah. You might get to carve out your own role more, extending beyond just pure co-S duties. That could be a huge value add for your own development.
Interesting. Then late stage or pre-IPO?
Now we're talking bigger numbers. Base salaries hitting $180K, $300 plus TECA, often with significant equity and bonus opportunities too. Levels.fyi reports a median around $177K at top tech firms, but total comp is often way higher.
And finally, public companies.
Here, you're potentially looking at $200K, $400K plus in total compensation. And the role is often seen quite clearly as a stepping stone towards a VP or even C-suite position.
And location definitely plays a part, doesn't it? I bet the big tech hubs pay more.
Oh, for sure. Places like San Francisco, Silicon Valley, London, they typically command salaries maybe 20–30% above the national averages.
Right.
Other cities like Seattle, Austin, Boston, Amsterdam also see a premium, usually around 10–20% above average. It's just a reflection of the competitive market there.
Okay, so the money can clearly be good, especially later stage. But stepping back from the pure numbers, what's the real strategic insight here for someone looking at total compensation, especially thinking about that early stage equity gamble?
That's a really smart question.
Right.
Because the savvy chiefs of staff, they don't just fixate on the base salary. They understand the importance of the total compensation package.
Right.
Equity, especially in those high-growth companies, is often the biggest potential lever for long-term wealth. So you need to dig into the details, understand the vesting schedule.
When you actually own the shares.
Exactly. And really assess the company's growth trajectory. Is this a rocket ship or...
Or not. Okay. What else is in the total package?
Performance bonuses are common. Typically 10–25% of base, but sometimes higher depending on how the company's doing or how you perform. And don't discount the benefits. Good health insurance, 401k matching, where the company chips into your retirement savings,
Always nice.
learning and development budgets, maybe even some executive perks.
Yeah.
It all adds up.
So when it comes to negotiating, any tips?
Definitely understand your unique value proposition. Go in armed with specific examples of how your background fits their specific needs right now.
Okay.
And always consider the total package, not just the base, a slightly lower base, but with much better equity terms. That could be way more valuable down the road.
Makes sense.
And sometimes the smartest negotiation isn't just about money, it's about role scope.
Huh?
Can you expand your responsibilities? That can justify higher pay and accelerate your career faster.
That leads perfectly into the next big question people have. Where does this role actually lead? Let's talk career progression.
Yeah, because it's often seen as a launch pad, isn't it?
It seems like it. Many former chiefs of staff transition into VP level roles, right? Earning, what, $200K, $400K plus?
Easily. Or even C-suite positions. That could be $300 up to over $1 million, depending on the company's size and success.
Wow. And then there's the founder path.
Unlimited upside potential there, obviously.
Moving into venture capital.
Also common. You're looking at $200K, $500K plus carried interest. That's a share of the fund's profits. Very lucrative if the investments do well.
And you mentioned earlier these KS roles often last around 2 years, like an intense proving ground.
Exactly. It's often a deliberate, fixed-term tour of duty.
So this brings up a really important question then. What's the real value of the CS role beyond just the immediate paycheck?
I think it's true. Fundamental value lies in the career acceleration it provides.
Acceleration? How so?
Claire Lee Paget, she's chief of staff at Battery Associates, she put it really succinctly. She said, I have buying power, execution ability, and decision-making authority.
Power, ability, authority.
That combination, it just unlocks significant long-term earning potential and opportunity far beyond what the initial salary figures might suggest.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, let's shift gears a bit. What does it actually take to succeed in this role?
Good question.
Because there's no one-size-fits-all chief of staff profile, which is interesting. What seems to unite them isn't a specific background, but maybe more the traits they share.
That's exactly right. It's about the underlying qualities.
So if you're listening and considering this path, you should probably ask yourself, do I have these core traits?
Definitely. First one, a real comfort with ambiguity.
Okay, explain that.
These roles are often, well, loosely defined. You might have to build processes from scratch, tackle problems where the instructions are vague or non-existent.
Right.
Brian Collivet, who we mentioned earlier, he emphasized, you need to be comfortable operating in ambiguity and change.
And Saad Al-Qudumi from Astrolabs.
He added that no 2 days are the same, and you need to understand every aspect of the business. That really speaks to the breadth and, the ambiguity.
Okay. Comfort with ambiguity. What's next?
An ownership mentality. This is absolutely critical.
Meaning?
The best chiefs of staff don't just wait to be told what to do. They proactively identify problems, take charge, see things through.
Thinking like an owner.
Exactly. Rajat Gupta, co-host of finance at Wholesome Foods, said exactly that. You have to think like an owner to excel. And Davia Ludolini from Althea advised candidates to highlight initiatives you've led end-to-end, not just supported. That shows you're ready.
Got it. Lead end to end. Trait number 3.
Exceptional communication. You're dealing with everyone.
Like who?
C-suite leaders, junior analysts, board members, investors, sometimes all in the same day.
Yeah.
You need to be able to translate strategy into action, distill really complex ideas, and communicate with clarity, but also diplomacy.
Tricky balance.
Very. Clara Lee Paget specifically highlighted the ability to command a team, both leadership and the wider company, especially when standing in for the founder CEO. That requires serious comms skills.
Okay. What else is essential?
The role demands both strategic thinking and operational execution. It's a real hybrid.
So big picture and getting stuff done.
Precisely. One foot in the planning, the other firmly in implementation. Davide Lodolini said, a strong ability to move seamlessly between strategy and implementation is key.
Right.
And Saad Al-Qudumi, coming from consulting, pointed out the difference. He said, I am executing and seeing through the projects I work on, as opposed to the strategy work I did in consulting, which was a lot more fluffy.
Fluffy. So output really matters just as much as the insight here.
Absolutely.
You have to deliver in bonus skills, things that give you an edge.
Yeah, one thing is tool fluency and operational rigor.
Meaning like software.
Exactly. Being hands-on with internal tools, Notion, Asana, HubSpot, Salesforce, Workday, Jira, whatever the company uses, it can really set you apart.
Why is that so valuable?
Especially if you're complementing, say, a visionary founder, as Claire Lee Padgett suggested. It shows you can not only think big picture, but also dive into the weeds and understand how things actually get done operationally. You can build the systems.
That makes sense. It's clear this role is incredibly dynamic, responsibilities shift. So given that, I guess it makes sense there isn't just one single path into the chief of staff role.
Absolutely right. There's no single blueprint. But we do see a few distinct avenues that consistently lead people into these kinds of positions.
Okay, what's the most common one?
Arguably, the internal transition.
Promoting from within.
Exactly. Many chiefs of staff rise internally because they've already built that credibility. They understand the company's priorities, the people, the politics.
That insider knowledge.
Huge advantage. Brian Kolovit from Meta even said, it's a role that strongly favors internal candidates.
So if you're already in a high-growth company,
look for those unclaimed work streams, those cross-functional initiatives nobody owns yet. Step up. Those can often become de facto COS projects and prove your capability.
Good advice. What's another common path?
Ex-consultants and MBA grads, they often get hired directly.
Why them specifically?
Because they usually bring structured thinking, analytical rigor, strong stakeholder management skills right out of the box.
But there's a catch?
The catch is you absolutely have to prove you can execute, not just strategize. You can't just deliver slide decks.
Right. No more fluffy stuff.
Exactly. Saad Al-Qudumi, who made that transition, found his consulting background transferable, but also stressed the importance of soft skills, like managing egos of the management team and ensuring harmony.
Politics again?
Always. And Davide Lodolini echoed this, saying you have to demonstrate your ability to lead initiatives end-to-end, show you can deliver results.
Okay, internal moves, consultants, MBAs. What else?
Many chiefs of staff start as startup generalists or early joiners.
Like a business associate or ops manager.
Yeah, or maybe even an executive assistant in some cases. They evolve into the COS role as trust builds and the company scales. It's organic.
So it's more about skills and attitude.
Definitely. Claire Lee Padgett really underscored that. She said, it's highly tuned, transferable skills, attitude, and character that'll help a founder go further. More so than specific subject matter expertise sometimes.
Interesting. Any other routes?
There's the functional expert to generalist operator path.
Someone deep in finance or engineering switching?
Exactly. They use the COS role to broaden their scope, move into a more strategic, cross-functional position. This works really well if your expertise fills in the gaps for the principal you'd be working with.
Complementary skills again?
Mm-hmm. And finally, sometimes it's direct placement via VC or founder networks.
So not advertised.
Often not. Founders might hire a COS through their personal network or via introductions from their venture capital investors. These are usually high-trust, high-reward opportunities, especially for first-time CEOs or companies scaling super fast.
So it sounds like no matter which path you take, the underlying goal is the same, isn't it?
Pretty much. Build trust, prove your value consistently, and show you can operate strategically while still rolling up your sleeves and getting things done.
Build trust, prove value, get things done. Okay, now let's bring this to life. Let's hear about some real chiefs of staff and see how varied these roles actually are.
Good idea.
Because as we've said, the title might be consistent, but the jobs themselves, anything but.
Indeed. Okay, take Davide Lodolini. We mentioned him. He's SOS at Alphea, a wealth tech company.
Right. What's his focus?
He acts as a strategic advisor. He's driving high-impact initiatives like defining their AI strategy, securing key strategic partnerships, even organizational restructuring. He really embodies that intersection of strategy and execution.
Okay, who else?
Then there's Claire Lee Padgett at Battery Associates. Her role is supporting the founder directly with company strategy and operations.
What does she value most?
She mentioned getting that great overview of the entire business and, crucially, having buying power, decision-making abilities, and execution. That authority piece again.
Right, powerful combo.
And Brian Collivet, when he was at Meta before founding his startup, he supported a VP in global gaming,
Doing what?
covering strategic projects, business operations, communications. He specifically highlighted the steep learning curve and high-stakes decision-making involved there.
High stakes. Makes sense at that level.
Then there's Rachit Gupta. He's chief of staff for finance at Wholesome Foods.
So a finance focus.
Yeah, his role centers on stakeholder management, financial planning and analysis, FP&A and fundraising. He values getting to know the business in depth and learn directly with senior management.
Learning directly from the top.
Exactly. And Saad Al-Qadoumi, co-SBUS in the CEO office at Astrolabs.
What's his day-to-day like?
He tackles those ad hoc strategic projects, new market entry, financial analysis for M&A, stakeholder management. He called it a dynamic role in which no 2 days are the same, and emphasized the built-in need to understand every aspect of the business.
That chameleon role again.
Totally. And one more, Abigail Swanson. She has a cool hybrid role at Twirl, chief of staff and U.S. sales.
Wow, sales too.
Yeah. She combines sales duties with co-S responsibilities, like developing KPI reporting systems,
Key performance indicators, metrics, yeah.
and identifying process improvements across the board. She said she loves having a part of each department and utilizing my experience to find solutions to problems and optimize processes.
These profiles really do drive home the incredible diversity, don't they?
They absolutely do.
And the huge impact chiefs of staff can have. It proves that strong generalists really can thrive here, whatever their specific background was. It really is a unique blend of strategic thinking and operational muscle.
Well said.
Okay, so maybe you're listening, you're intrigued, you think you have the traits, you're ready to make the leap. Let's talk about the application process.
Right, because getting hired is as much about finding that right fit as it is about demonstrating capability.
Fit is key. So, tip number 1.
It truly is. First, you absolutely have to tailor your application.
No generic resumes.
Definitely not. Davide Lodolini advised, understand in detail the role and tailor your application to the specific scope of the GOS role. Because, as we've seen, responsibilities vary so widely.
So research is crucial.
Yes. Research the company's stage, its current challenges. What problems are they trying to solve right now that a co-S could help with?
Okay, tailor the application. What's next?
Second, show you understand the CEO-founder dynamic.
The principal relationship.
Exactly. Since it's often such a close one-to-one partnership, you need to demonstrate you've done your homework on the principal themselves, their background, their style, their stated priorities.
How do you show that?
Clara Lee Padgett put it very simply. Make sure you understand the CEO inside out, as you'll essentially be their right-hand woman, Yemen. You need to signal that understanding.
Got it. Understand the principle. Third tip.
Third, demonstrate ownership and versatility. We keep coming back to this.
Taking the lead.
Yes. Highlight specific projects where you took the lead and delivered results across multiple functions. Remember what Davide Lodolini said. Emphasize ownership by showcasing initiatives you've led end to end, not just supported.
Prove you can drive things.
Exactly. And Brian Collivet added, look for ways to get involved in projects where you can show your value and get exposure even before you apply, if possible.
Smart. Okay, fourth tip.
Fourth, be authentic and assess the fit for yourself.
It's a two-way street.
Absolutely. Since, as Brian Collivet said, chemistry is everything, you need to be honest. Honest about your motivations, your working style, your ambitions.
Ask yourself.
Ask yourself Brian's question. Is this someone you would actually like to work with 12 hours a day for the next 2 years? If the answer is no, it's probably not the right role, no matter how prestigious it sounds.
Good reality check. Okay, final tip for applying.
Finally, approach the interview like a consultant, but be ready to execute.
What does that mean?
Chief of staff interviews often revolve around real business challenges the company is facing. So prepare like you would for a consulting case interview, structured thinking, business acumen.
Okay.
BUT. And this is crucial. Remember what Saad Al-Qadoumi experienced?
Yeah.
He actually contributed to the implementation of the solution for one of the case studies he worked on during his interview process.
Wow, they put him to work right away.
It highlights that chiefs of staff don't just make recommendations in a deck. They're expected to roll up their sleeves and execute. You need to show you can do both.
Think like a consultant, act like an owner.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay. We've covered a lot, but we know you might still have more questions about this pretty unique role. So let's tackle some of the most frequently asked ones.
Sounds good. Let's hit the FAQs. Where should we start?
Let's start with the most basic. What does a chief of staff actually do? Can we summarize it again?
Yeah, broadly, they maximize a senior leader's effectiveness. They do that by being a strategic advisor, an execution partner, and a cross-functional coordinator,
Hmm.
essentially driving those business-critical initiatives that might otherwise fall through the cracks.
Okay. Next big one. What's the difference between a chief of staff and an executive assistant, EA?
This comes up all the time. An EA typically focuses on logistical support, scheduling, travel, managing correspondence. Essential support, but different.
Right. And the DAs?
The COS operates at a strategic and operational level. They're leading projects, shaping decisions, acting almost as an extension of the CEO's own decision-making capacity. It's about taking substantive initiatives off the principal's plate, not just managing their schedule.
Strategic leverage versus logistical support. Got it. Next. How senior is the chief of staff role?
This one's tricky because seniority varies so much. It really depends on the company size and maturity.
So it's not always VP level?
Not necessarily. It can be a direct stepping stone to director or VP roles, but it can also be a very high-level, high-influence generalist role without many or any direct reports. Its seniority is often defined more by impact and access than by traditional org chart hierarchy.
Impact over hierarchy. Okay. What backgrounds are most common for COIS candidates? We touched on this, but let's recap.
We often see people coming from consulting, strategy, and ops roles at startups, MBA programs, sometimes finance product, or even founder backgrounds themselves.
But it's not just about the background.
No, ultimately things like versatility, maturity, that ability to think strategically and operationally, those are more important than any specific degree or previous job title, attitude and aptitude.
Right. How long do people typically stay in the role?
Usually around 2 years. It's often viewed, both by the person and the company, as that intensive proving ground or tour of duty we talked about, a launch pad for what's next.
Which leads perfectly to the last FAQ. What comes after a chief of staff role?
The possibilities are really broad because the role gives you such unique exposure. Many go on to found their own companies.
The founder path.
Yep. Others move into VP or general manager level leadership roles, head of strategy, head of ops, maybe chief operating officer eventually.
Okay.
Some join the C-suite in areas like operations, strategy, or finance. And as we mentioned, transitioning into investing or venture capital roles is also quite common.
So the role really opens significant doors.
It absolutely does.
Okay.
Because of the unparalleled exposure, the deep trust required, and just the sheer breadth of experience you gain in a compressed time frame.
Well, there you have it, our deep dive into the fascinating, complex world of the chief of staff role.
It's quite a role.
It really is. We've seen how it offers that unparalleled exposure, the immense impact, and incredible career acceleration for the right kind of individual, especially for those ambitious generalists out there who really thrive on complex challenges.
And maybe, to leave you with a final provocative thought to chew on,
Okay.
given how absolutely central trust and chemistry are to this role, and considering how many of these positions get filled through warm introductions or internal promotions, maybe think about this. How might building genuine relationships and demonstrating proactive value before a specific role even exists,
Oh.
how might that be the most powerful pathway for you to pursue this?
Building the foundation before the job appears, that's definitely something to ponder. If you're intrigued by all this, we really encourage you to explore further. Seek out more real-life chief of staff profiles, maybe engage with some of the communities we've mentioned today.
Keep learning.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep digging deeper.